If someone joins any particular firm as an HR, what is the tentative career trajectory you can map out?
In about a year or two, they'd go on to be, then senior executive or consultants. And then I think 2 to 3 years again, then assistant managers.
So you work at TVF.
Top 250 shows on IMDb. There are some, I think 11 or 12 from India, of which majority, some 7, 8 are from TVF today.
If someone wants to get into this kind of a work, what are the primary skills that these firms have a demand for?
If you are starting off fresh, then CV में जो extra curricular वाला section है, your passion points, your hobbies, that's what you expand.
Reimagine the existing ads कि अगर कल उठ के मुझे मूव के लिए ऐड बनाना है, मुझे ओला के लिए बनाना है, ओयो के लिए बनाना है, हाउ वुड आई पुट दैट कम्युनिकेशन आउट, बिल्ड दैट सोशल मीडिया प्रेजेंस.
दाग अच्छे हैं, राइट, उसमें एक कड़क इंसाइट पकड़ते हैं, फिर उसके बाद हम आगे बढ़ेंगे कि उस इंसाइट का अब क्या करना है विद द ब्रांड.
I was assigned to Ankur Warikoo, so I could discuss some of those things with Ankur.
Management with work experience or as a fresher? This is the Women in Management series where I will be speaking to women from diversified fields who are coming with different kind of experiences, and this will be important for not only the girls but also any student who is aspiring for a career in management. Today we have few amazing people from Vedika Scholars Program. We have Ashmita who will give us insights on the HR field. We have Rumani who will give us insights about the media industry, and Nabodita who will give us insights on the marketing and advertising front. And I get a lot of doubts from young girls about the Vedika Scholars Program, what exactly it is. So these alumni from Vedika Scholars Program will give us those insights. What exactly is the curriculum? What exactly is the program? So if you are interested in this particular program, it will be useful for you as well. And for anyone who is thinking about HR industry, typical traditional management roles, or even media industry, advertising space, this podcast is definitely going to be very, very useful. Thank you, Ashmita. Thank you, Ramani. Thank you, Navodita, for joining me and taking out time for this. So just to start, can you briefly introduce yourself to the audience?
Sure, thanks Anant. Hi everyone, I'm Asmita Jagwani, and I have pursued a BA in political science honors, and then I went on to work in the social impact sector. And soon after, I went ahead to pursue a postgraduate management program at Vedika Scholars Program, and which was an interesting holistic program where I got a campus placement in KPMG Global Services as an HR business partner. And I in fact worked throughout with the firm in the same role for about 3+ years until recently. And yes, now I am on a pursuit of getting into the holistic well-being domain.
Great. And Rumani, you?
Thanks, Anant. Thank you for having us here. I'm Rumani. I currently work at TVF. For my undergrad, I've done liberal studies, and post that, I worked with a health tech startup in Ahmedabad. After working there for, I think, 2 to 3 years, I joined Vedika to do my management, my PG. While I was at Vedika, did my shadow at Pocket Aces, which also sort of converted as a PPO for me. Worked at Pocket Aces for 3 years, did a bit of freelancing in between, and now I work at TVF in the brand solutions team.
Okay, and in which year did you graduate?
2019. 2019 batch.
Oh, okay, got it. And Nabodita, you?
Hi, thanks for inviting me here. So I pursued my economics honors from Delhi University. Right after that, I joined Vedika. And after Vedika, I was placed at 2.7, where I pursued like business development as a subject, right? And right after that, I switched to advertising completely. So that's been my journey. I am a Delhi girl, a Bengali Delhi girl who's moved to Bombay. It's my 4th year here. So let's see how it goes.
And in which year did you graduate?
I graduated in the year of 2020.
2020.
So, yeah.
Okay, so you are a fresher and you too had work experience before joining Vedika, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had brief experience
Got it.
for about a year, and then I joined in.
Got it. And while I was just looking at your profiles, all of you have a very unique aspect. That is, once you joined Vedika, the kind of shadow module that you had in your curriculum and whichever person you shadowed. For example, I can see Ashmita, you shadowed Rakhi Malik, director at and director HR at AT Kearney, and Romani, you shadowed Aditi Srivastav, who was the CEO at Pocket Aces, and you joined Pocket Aces after that. And Navodita, you shadowed Miss Jacqueline, marketing director, and again you went to advertising, branding, everything.
Correct.
So like you have basically followed a similar path to the mentors you shadowed. So how exactly does it happen? Did you already have an inclination in that particular field and you choose your mentors accordingly? So what exactly happens there?
So I think, please feel free to
Yeah.
add, but we do start out with a certain domain in mind where we're interested. In my case, 100% the inclination was towards media and entertainment. I had no background in media and entertainment before this. So when we were having those shadow woman leader module discussions, I, like a proper management student, I went to the team with an Excel with my priority list sorted. Aditi Srivastav had been a mentor before as well, so I knew that maybe there is a chance there. So I went in with that domain. I had a preference, and then I did my best to convince the Vedika team that I think I'm the perfect person to shadow there. So, but I think just overall, we go in with a preference of domain, and the team with everything they have, they will come and map us to the industries.
Got it. And it must be really interesting because it's almost like a CEO's office role, or it's such a senior leader and you're working directly with them. So just want to know experience, and from all of you, starting with Ashmita, like how was your experience working with such a senior leader?
I think I learned a lot, and in fact, a lot of people said that how would this work, because I was in the batch where we were all hit by COVID, and most of our journey was virtual. So I had the same anticipation that how much will the senior leader be able to give me time and in a virtual setup. But I think it's commendable, and Vedika also brings in that effort to set the expectation right and how the mentor should kind of give us time. So that commitment is there from the mentor side as well. So I think how it really helped me was that on a daily basis, she would set up some time with me, and she also mapped me with some of her team members who were working on different projects, so that I get an insight on all the things that her teammates are working on. And then she would really ask me how I've approached things. So she would spend that time with me to tell me that how I could have approached it differently.
Got it. And this was another question that I had, because you already answered it. Like how closely basically these leaders are able to give you time, because they are very senior and they have their own work as well. So to mentor someone entirely who's coming to the firm probably is just an intern, will leave after a few days. So usually when we go for internships, there is probably a team, mid-level manager probably who's guiding us, but specifically for a senior leader to give so much of time, that's pretty interesting. How has it been for you, Romani?
I think when you have clarity as to what is it that you want out of this shadow module, the mentor is also able to come through with it.
Yeah.
So in my case, Aditi and I had a conversation before I met her, and where she asked me that either we could do like 100% shadow where you come to me, or would you like to work on active projects? And I really wanted some hands-on learning. I mentioned that I had no background in media and entertainment, but I had an inclination. So I said, I would love it if you could let me work on assignments. And she mapped me with a lot of leaders in the organization. It was very interesting for me to see people generally say media industry does not have a lot of women, but at Pocket Aces, most of the teams were led by women. So that was very interesting. So in fact, I got to shadow not just one, but quite a few women leaders while I was there.
Got it. And Navodita, you, how was your experience?
Mine is Jack is from Singapore, right? So Zaxis is a Singapore-based company. So at the time, Jack was with a child. She was a young mother, right? The best part about that entire experience was the child was also a part of all the meetings. Yeah, and I was a fresher. I needed to see that picture, every young girl should see that picture, right? That, okay, here's a young mother, but she's also the marketing director of Zaxis. These two can exist together in the same screen. There's no problem with that. That's the first and the foremost thing that I learned. And of course, like virtual world learning is a little difficult, but Jack supported me entirely. She would asked me to attend each and every meeting. She would say, you wouldn't understand half the things that are going on, in the meeting because you do not have any context. But then the environment helps, you know what you are up against in the future. Right. So, yeah, like until now, we are in touch. Today in the morning, we had a chat. So, yeah. Right.
Okay,
Let's
so
see.
still you're in contact.
Yep. Totally.
Nice.
Like we keep exchanging like life updates. So stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice, and that's a very inspiring story how you as a woman balance your personal and professional life.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure it will be very, very inspiring for all the young girls watching as well.
Yeah.
Whoever is going to like shadow a senior leader or anyone of that sort.
Yeah.
So now let's come to individual career as well, because we have like quite a diverse background here. One from HR background, one coming from media content, Navadita, you coming from branding, marketing. So I'm sure the audience would want to know from all of you about your respective career. So if they want to pursue a similar career, how would that look like? Starting with Ashmita, you have been a HR business partner.
Right.
So what exactly is the role, if you can explain to the audience?
Sure. I think a lot is hidden in the name itself. When they say HR business partner, there are two keywords, which is business and partnering them. So I would like to very simplify it and put it across as HR business partner is that individual from the HR team who is mapped to a group of people, say a business, like for example, I was in KPMG, thousands of employees. Now in that you would have certain sub teams. Now for a particular sub team, I would be mapped as their HR business partner. Now what my role would entail is there will be a certain person who's leading the entire, bigger chunk of a team, and there are specific sub teams which will also have their individual leaders. So now all of these leaders are whom I am working with, and I'm in a way partnering them to ensure that the entire span that they have under them, all of these people are able to have an effective, employment journey at the firm is what the HR business partner will come in and ensure that, we're giving the right support. And just to give a glimpse of the kind of support that would be there, so I become a go-to person. For example, if I am an HR business partner for about 400, 500 people. Now, what will happen is I'm also connecting with their leaders to understand what their entire plan is, what is their approach, what are they trying to achieve as a target. And then I'm also the go-to person for these hundreds of people. Say now, on a day-to-day basis, there are certain things that they need support with to understand firms' policies better. How a day in my life would look like as an HR business partner, that, from performance evaluation to solving queries to helping them understand, be well plugged in the firm and their employee experience going great, multiple aspects. So it's a very dynamic role in that sense where you are the go-to person and the person can be absolutely relaxed that I have told my HRBP about this. Now, how does this issue get solved further or the certain guidance that I need? This HRBP will figure out in the entire nexus of organization and work it out and come back with a solution. So a lot of onus on culture, employee experience is what you ensure as an HRBP, and a lot goes in between picking the pulse on the floor.
Got it. And if someone joins any particular firm as an HR, what is the tentative career trajectory you can map out? For example, you start as an analyst or associate. So if you can just mention the years it will take and the kind of designation one will go through.
Sure. Any which ways, a lot will also depend on, I guess, about personal merit and depending on the requirement at a certain firm.
Certainly.
But given that, average trajectory would be like and different nomenclature in different firms, but somewhere around like an analyst or an associate consultant kind of a role, or an executive. Every firm has a different name commensurate to this level. They start as that, and I think in about a year or two they'd go on to be then senior executive or consultants, and then I think 2 to 3 years again, then assistant managers, and then I think at every level, perhaps as you go from mid senior to senior level, definitely you spend a lot more years than the initial jumps that you have, because it also means that you take on a lot of responsibility in terms of your readiness and maturity to manage a bigger chunk. And from a role perspective, if you ask me, so you start with the task that I mentioned, but eventually as we grow, senior in the firm, or in the role for that matter, there's a lot more additional responsibility that comes to HR business partners, wherein they will also be working in tandem with, say, a compensation benefits team also, or like a policy team. And as you know, get that maturity, there's a lot more wider aspects that, you know, HR BPs are able to give perspective and help the firm plan better.
So we'll come back to you, Ashmita, because now you're also going to pursue something very interesting. But before that, going to Romani. So you work at TVF, today one of the most creative media firms, I would say, in today's age.
Yes.
So how is the work and your work, brand solutions, what exactly does it mean? And not only for TVF,
Right.
specifically for any similar firm, what does brand solutions mean?
So I work in the brand solutions team, which is larger part of branded content, right? Like it's when there is a brand who wants to today partner with digital content everywhere, constantly on our phones. We're watching reels, we're watching, you're consuming content on YouTube, we're watching shows on OTT platforms. Brands want to be very much part of these stories today. It is appointment viewing. It comes under part of, you know, the pull communication, right? When you look at an ad, it's more of a push communication because you didn't choose to watch that ad, but vis-a-vis if you're watching a show, you chose to watch it. So it's more of a pull communication, and which is what the brands want to be a part of today. It gets you more engagement. You're able to tell a story through branded content, which is why brands today want to be part of these shows. As part of the brand solutioning team, we get to be a bridge between, you know, the client side, the brand side, as well as the creative team. Especially at TVF, for us, content is king, and our first customer is the audience. So we never want to tell stories, or we never want to integrate a brand in a certain way कि जो audience को आगे जाके खटकेगा, because it has to be a seamless part of the narrative.
Got it. And अगर आप TVF में अभी देखो तो like most of the finest shows in OTT that is coming out, TVF is producing it. So the people working there, I'm pretty sure it must be like a very creative bunch of people who are doing all this work. So how is it to work in such a creative environment?
Fantastic. I mean, I sometimes do pinch myself that I get to work here and I get to do this for a living. But yeah, I mean, it is... creative juices are constantly flowing. You're meeting people. TVF, I think, today has the writers at TVF, right? They're so rooted in reality, and that reflects in the shows that we create. So, and everyone's coming from a different part of India. Majority of it is coming from the heartland of India. So, sometimes sitting here in metro cities, you don't really... You somewhere are set away from reality, but when you're having those discussions, when those creative discussions are happening, तुम्हें पता चलता है कि यार भारत में क्या हो रहा है. You get to work with creators, you get to work with really good directors as well. The whole branded side of it, right? People always say कि brand के साथ content नहीं बन सकता, वो खटकता है. Today TVF, some of India में जो top 250 shows on IMDb, there are some, I think 11 or 12 from India, of which majority, some 7-8 are from TVF today, and 5 of them are created with brands. So we prove that notion wrong कि brands के साथ stories नहीं बन सकती. And when you have such a good team, even the writers at TVF, they understand कि brand के साथ content कैसे बनाना है. So our jammings are more about, not about कि कौन सा feature integrate करना है. It's more about how can we make this a part of the larger story. And today the audience is also very smart, right? They know, like if we do a bad integration, we know that the audience is going to call it out in the comments. Today, audience watches a show knowing there will be certain brand integrations, but the more seamless they are, more acceptance from the audience is there for that.
Right, exactly. And the kind of content as well that you produce, because I make most of my videos on education. So literally every exam that you have, there is some show, UPSC, JEE, CAT exam. There is some show that is teaching the students something.
There
so
could be more coming, you never know.
Definitely. And when is the next season of Panchayat coming?
I'm not allowed to say. But I'm also eagerly waiting.
Yeah, especially because I make content on CAT, so I'm also like eagerly waiting to see in the next season if Sachiv ji cracks CAT or not.
We'll find out. But I think that's the beauty of TVF shows, right? Like, you very rightly mentioned with competitive exams. But you see, like, one of my favorite TVF shows is also Aspirants. and I have no background in UPSC.
Yeah.
But at the heart of these stories are also human stories. Aspirants, yes, it is a story about three candidates trying to crack UPSC, but at the heart of it, it is a friendship story. It is
Yeah.
a story of dreams. It is a romantic story. So at the heart of it, though, there are human emotions, and which is something that I feel TVF cracks very beautifully in terms of, you know, the shows, even the family shows. These are shows that you can sit with your family and watch it.
Right.
मुझे अपने कमरे में अकेले बैठ के देखने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. It can be a family viewing, very light-hearted slice of life sort of shows.
Right, and the details as well, which you go to, especially in terms of preparation. If I see specifically, if I talk about Panchayat, where they are preparing for CAT, the details to which you go, it feels like there's someone who has attempted the exam or probably done
Yeah.
a deep research on that.
No, there is.
Okay.
That is all credits to our writers and the research team
Got
there. That's for sure.
And coming to you, Nabodita, so account planner at Leo. So what exactly is your work?
All right. So, as an account planner, the first and the foremost thing that we do for an ad campaign is to pick a problem to solve. Okay. We have different brands. As a result of that, we have different audiences to cater, right? An insurance brand is going to sell insurance to a different category of people altogether as compared to, let's say, a paint bucket brand, right? So yeah, like we start off with a problem statement and then we figure out a consumer insight, right? If let's say दाग अच्छे हैं, राइट, उसमें एक कड़क इंसाइट पकड़ते हैं, फिर उसके बाद हम आगे बढ़ेंगे कि उस इंसाइट का अब क्या करना है विद द ब्रांड, राइट. वी हैव टू हैव अ रोल ऑफ ब्रांड देयर. रोल ऑफ कंज्यूमर आ गया है, रोल ऑफ ब्रांड क्या है, एंड देन यू फिगर आउट how to execute it now, right? All of this thinking is going to land you at a concept essentially, but exactly after that comes the part where you understand what sort of an execution is going to work out for you. It can be a billboard, it can be a print ad, it can be an ad campaign, it can be an act, right? It can be several things. So essentially that's the whole gamut of things. Where an account planner stands in this entire situation is the R&D stuff of the part. Essentially like where you are figuring out where the business is in right now, right? Randomly any business can't do just कोई भी random problem पकड़ के आप solution नहीं दे सकते हो. It has to align with where you are in your own journey. Right? तो उस हिसाब से then what exactly is the business objective of the brief that is coming to us, right? Is it कि ज़्यादा customer चाहिए? Is it footfall ज़्यादा बढ़ानी है? Different, objectives. Right. So what we do is we map everything, we simplify. ये बहुत कुछ है, right? ये बहुत सारा 10 वेरिएबल स्टडी करके फिर उसको एक सिंपल सीधे शब्दों में कैसे हम ऑडियंस तक पहुँचाए is what essentially is my job.
And before that, you were a brand strategist. So was
Correct.
that role a bit different?
No, so account planner is only the brand strategist.
Okay, just different terminologies,
names.
nomenclature.
Correct.
Got it.
Yeah.
And if someone wants to get into this kind of a work, what are the primary skills that these firms have a demand for?
So, see, in my opinion, I really don't think that you need specific credentials for this job. Because I've met a lawyer who's practiced for 5 years and now is an account planner. There's a dentist that I know who's an account planner now. From account planner, people go on to being psychologists, right? So the way that I see it, 3 points. First is blue sky thinking. अगर आप कुछ भी सोच लो, आप आ जाओ इधर. ठीक है, like out of thin air, just think about anything, like that. Second is that you need to be a little multifaceted. If you're headstrong about one thing, then it's an issue, right? But if you're a little multifaceted, कि अच्छा ये problem के लिए मैं मतलब ऐसे घुमा के कैसे उस चीज़ को आंसर करूँ, वो आपको आना चाहिए essentially. And third is how to handle rejection. in
Yeah, I think-
creative. Yeah, like Romani would know this.
No, but I think with creative, that's one of my major learnings as well. You
Yeah.
can't be married to your idea.
You can't.
You fall in love with it, and then it's going to go through 100 iterations, and for the good. And you realize that by the end of it, the final product that you put out was, it was the best summation of all the ideas
Yeah.
that people had. So
Yeah.
I
Got
agree.
it. And
So-
probably this field is not for me because I've been so rigid about my ideas always. Probably part of working as a consultant, then you go to the client and I'm like, no, this is the solution
Yeah.
and this is the best way forward. And I'm so rigid about the way that I want to work.
No, that's true. I mean, SOPs really, for each project, your SOPs end up being different. So there
Right.
is no
Yeah.
SOP term because every client is going to be different, every brand objective is going to be different, every solution is going to be different. So
Got it. And basically, what I can see is, especially in your work and your work as well, there's a creative angle as well
Yes.
associated, right? So, was it a part of the kind of curriculum you had at Vedika? Because that also teaches you kind of liberal arts. You have some modules under liberal arts. So, was it a continuation of that, or was it something that no, you chose Vedika because you were already inclined in that direction?
Okay, so I was always into creativity. Okay, I'm an Hindustani classical singer. I have trained in Bharatanatyam. I am a Bengali and a South Indian. My culture, it just backs me up with creativity a lot. But at Vedika, I'll say that there were a lot of courses that opened my thinking horizons. Critical thinking. Or we had this course in theatre where in one of our classes, the one instruction was randomly room mein chalo in any direction.
and make weird faces.
And make weird faces.
Because so one of the first things that you learn in theater is to sort of lose those inhibitions. You have to be very flexible with your face.
And
Yeah.
this was part of your course.
it was part of our course.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was in fact like a very fun class. Even I remember this class that we had even during our batch.
Yeah, it just opened me up. Like I have zero inhibition after that. Like उसके बाद और क्या ही inhibition होगा, right?
Same class. I also remember we were asked to be like in pairs, sit down in pairs, and do like a heart-to-heart sharing of like
Yes.
your journey.
With another batchmate.
Another
Yeah.
batchmate, share what's something that has helped you grow, what have been some challenges in the life, and by the end of that class, you could see people were in tears. And that classes like the theater class, design thinking, there were classes around storytelling. So
Yes.
that like these are sometimes they're proper courses, sometimes there are workshops around it. So it definitely fueled the fire within कि नहीं ये तो करना ही है.
Got
Yeah.
But apart from that, I think just the amount of freedom you had in terms of this is something that I want to pursue, this is an internship that I would like to do, maybe this is a workshop that I would want to have. The Vedika team was always very approachable about these things. So every batch also has a different cohort, right? So if there are people in the cohort who have certain inclinations, the team does everything in their might to make those workshops or courses.
Got it. Now, that's
happen as
pretty
well.
interesting because I remember I had one of the courses. Like basically, we have to bid for the
Yeah.
courses that we take, and mostly management courses. But there was one particular course, ERI, I think, if I remember the name correctly. So it's the realities of life. Basically, you are taken to a particular place and then thrown random things. I could not attend that course because I did not have that many bid points with me. I took other subjects, but just one course like that. And it's pretty interesting to hear about the different types of courses you
Yeah,
had.
we had
और
a-
कोई example है?
We had a
courses का?
photography
Yeah.
course as well, like a class where the final exam for that particular module was we had to do like tell a story in 5 pictures
Yeah.
and write a caption around it. So that
So
was
you had to click the pictures.
yeah,
and
but you had to
tell a story.
tell a story
Around it.
and like some of us did some very interesting stuff there as
like
well.
I'll tell you, she mentioned storytelling. We had a proper course for storytelling.
Yeah.
And in creative storytelling के बिना आपका कुछ होगा नहीं. Like you can't just be blabbering 10 different facts. It has to have a narrative.
Yes.
It has
Storytelling
to
is
have a
in
thread.
any field, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I think
Yeah.
in a classroom somebody could be looking at storytelling from a certain lens.
Yeah.
But today, even as a consultant, I think you should be
Exactly.
a brilliant storyteller.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
the principles, the basis of like the fundamentals remain the same, but that's something that everyone got to pick out what they wanted from everything that was presented.
Apart
like
from
I understood rule of 3.
Yeah, I use that a lot.
I use that
too.
every single
What is
day.
that rule of 3? Anyone, if you can explain?
So in my previous answer, I said 3 points.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's that.
Can you just explain that?
Essentially जो भी आपका आंसर है, जो भी आपका पॉइंट है, 3 पॉइंट्स के आगे बढ़ो ही मत, राइट? एंड इवेंचुअली व्हेन यू स्टार्ट प्रैक्टिसिंग दिस रूल यू रियलाइज ओ शिट, मेरे पास तो चौथा और 5वां पॉइंट भी था, यू नो, एंड देन यू सिट एंड यू थिंक हाउ कैन you know concise everything. You've covered all your bases in 3 points. That's the rule.
And if
to
you also
follow.
go back to a lot of literature, some of or communication, it's the most effective when it's perhaps a lot of it you will see that it's done in rule of 3. So why do they always say healthy, wealthy, wise? They could have just stopped at healthy and wealthy, but
Okay, so maybe
it's
from
like it's a perfect sweet spot, sweet number there.
also they say no top 3 strengths,
Yeah.
top 3
Why is it not
development
top
areas.
4 or top 2?
Yeah.
It's,
I think from the retention perspective as well, for the audience, whoever is listening to you,
Yeah.
maybe they will be able to retain it better.
sometimes now when I'm just drafting a sentence, it feels कि नहीं यहाँ पे एक third चीज होनी चाहिए. You know, 2 बहुत कम लग रहा है, 4 बहुत ज्यादा लग रहा है.
Yeah,
3 is just the
exactly.
perfect to communicate and for the reader to understand where you're coming from.
And even when I think I didn't know this rule of 3 specifically, but when I make videos, it's also like, okay, top 3 strategies, top
Yeah,
3
same,
ideas,
yeah.
top
And
3
see, now
skills.
that you know, you will notice
Yeah,
even a lot of
notice it
communication.
everywhere.
You will
Correct.
notice it
Yeah.
everywhere.
I
And
want
this-
to actually add to some of the other courses that we did, and which was very different. I had no expectation that in a management program I will be doing something like that. Apart from storytelling and different narrative building and all the courses that Nabodita and Romani have talked about, we also had a course on inter and intrapersonal dynamics. When you do something like that,
yes.
what was that? It was mainly you come in as an individual. And this program doesn't look at you as, you're just going to be a product who would, blabber everything management out there when you go. It's rooted in the idea that you have to be a, holistic and balanced individual who can really, take them forward on their own. How do you have your foot in the door wherever you are? I think this course really did that. And just to give a glimpse, I never thought that I would be sitting in a classroom of 100 roughly people, and there is a mentor out there who's no pen and paper test, nothing, and we're talking about life experiences where what is it that is really holding me back. You don't expect talking about aspects of fear, shame, and you're really in an open vulnerable space. You can really be there, and that strength that you see, it just bonds you in a manner that, so imagine 100 women sitting in a room. Now the course is designed in that manner that it brings out a very unique self from each one of them, because our journeys would have been different, right, from until that point. Now when you look at that and someone's really sharing, and the mentors are very equipped to give you the right kind of
Cues to take it forward,
and it's nicely done. Like, that structure is so solid that very effortlessly it happens, and I'm sure a lot goes behind where we feel it's very seamless, and there's a lot of focus that goes on to making us very equipped individuals out there. And
Also, like
it's
the
really-
negotiation class, right?
Oh my God,
Our
yes.
professor, this I found very unique. Our professor would play Pink Floyd in the class.
Yeah.
While we're going through a brief that he had given us.
And this is a course called Negotiations Mastery.
Yeah.
Yes.
You expect,
Okay.
we'll have scenario A, scenario B, theorems and, theories
Okay.
and whatnot.
And the insight was so cool ki when tomorrow you're in an industry, say you're representing a union, you're not going to be able to always be seated in your AC cabins and figure out, okay, this is the solution. No, you will have 2 sides going at it, and in the middle of all of that noise, you will be expected to come across with a solution. PR was one of the things that we learned, how PR works,
What
how
was that
communication
Pink Floyd
works.
reference?
So the Pink Floyd he played because, again, he would play it at like the loudest of volume possible, because you're not the minute
Okay.
Pink Floyd is playing, you're probably not able to 100% focus on the
Okay.
brief. And
Understood.
which is also going to be a real life case कि तुम हमेशा बैठ के नहीं पढ़ पाओगे. There will be sound and voice that will grab your attention, but
Exactly.
you still need to be able to figure out, come up with solutions in those.
Got it. So basically, something like if you are put in a real life setting, how
Yeah.
would you negotiate or something?
Yeah, for sure. Like
Yeah.
in that class, you also identify what sort of a negotiator you
You
are.
are correct, yeah.
Like
Example?
So, for example, there are 3 types of negotiators again.
Of course, 3.
Yeah, right. So one is the attacker. Okay, like terminology शायद कुछ different हो सकती है,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
conceptually बता रही हूँ कि जो जीतेगा, like वो जीतने के लिए ही लड़ रहा है, ठीक है. The second one is the one who is going to defend all the time. It's defend, and when you know सामने वाला थोड़ा हार रहा है, that's when you attack. The third one is a collaborator who thinks कि भाई हम negotiate, हम deal बिठा रहे हैं इधर, right? So सामने वाला और मेरे दोनों win होने चाहिए. Now there is pro and con to every
Correct,
yeah.
negotiating category. Okay, like it's not like कि कोई जीत रहा है कोई हार रहा है, but you really have to know what are your strengths. If you are an attacker, then go attack. But so, and I'll tell you where is it useful in your personal life. Your appraisal.
Oh yes.
जो आप नेगोशिएट करते हो अपनी कंपनी के साथ, या तो फिर अब अगर आप जॉब स्विच कर रहे हो, that's also
I think
a
sometimes
time.
even dealing with clients, right?
Dealing
Exactly.
with
I think
clients.
every job
Yeah.
negotiation is
Yeah.
very important. I think
Yeah, but
brand
that's-
solutions, I think
Yeah.
very sure.
But
Yeah.
you know, the fact where I feel very grateful towards Vedika is the fact कि ये class था. You know, it wasn't
Yeah.
something that I took off the streets or lived experience से मेरा कोई lesson आया है. It was taught to me properly by a person, right? So yeah, I'm good at it now.
Understood. It would have made it easy for you that कोई employee आ रहा है कि यार मेरा salary
Oh, yeah.
10%,
She had
15%. Like no, just
tools to
5%.
defend. She knew
I've had umpty
I'm an
number of
attacker.
such conversations. And I think as an HR, you have to have the third way, right? Like you have to be
Collaborative.
the collaborator. At least that's how you need to approach it.
Yeah.
Right? Because you have to be pro the person who's coming,
Okay.
and you also have to keep. I think an HRBP role is such where you are the harbinger of firms' policy standards also, because you want to tell your people that hello, this is what needs to be followed.
Exactly.
At the same time, enhancing employee experience can only happen if you're really pro employees and really understanding stuff from their lens. Otherwise, you will never be able to bring a very effective solution that
Correct.
will really keep their employee experience going on well.
Yeah.
So it's a constant pendulum between the two, and you have to always have that balance.
Yeah, and exactly that. I
Yeah.
think that's a complete trade-off. Someone comes,
Yeah.
an employee comes off with, I want 20% hike, but the
Yes.
company can allow 10%. So you have to be that.
And the beauty,
bridge.
Anand, is that in every situation, it's a very personalized scenario. Each situation is different, and you have to look at it in a manner that the win-win, right? Like, how do I make it a win-win situation for everyone? Which is what I've really enjoyed, because
even
I
the
feel
feedback process, right? Like how to
Yeah.
give feedback was something.
absolutely. So there's so much that I think I owe it to the courses we are just talking about.
Yeah.
Beautiful part is that I don't recall any pen and paper test that I have given in 18 months.
There's no test.
No. There are a few.
In the
And I
sense
think
that-
what sets Vedika apart are like courses like these, but at the same time, it is
There are
also
management.
a management course, right? So
Yeah.
it will have some of its course. So accounts, very much pen and paper. We had to.
The beauty
So
is
like
that
economics, we had to write like a
Yeah.
proper paper
that
around.
has to be
so
there.
Of course.
like, we had
Maybe
to do a
case study
thesis and
driven, but
stuff.
that has to
Yeah.
be there.
yeah, I mean, some part of it, but how I had imagined it to be, and some of my friends who used to mention there's so many tests and exams constantly going on, I never
Yeah, yeah.
felt burdened that this is all that
Fair.
I'm doing.
For
Deserve
all
it.
management degrees as well, like it's very important. It's not a specific technical skill that you learn
Yeah.
X, you apply X. It's just that you internalize certain things which you don't know where you're
Yeah.
going to use it.
And sometimes I think with traditional, see those who are following it, it's working for them great. But sometimes I have seen that in traditional course of things, people have sort of, it becomes very competitive. It's not collaborative.
Yeah.
कि नहीं, you have to be the top crop of your class, and which is why when placements happen and like day
ये
zero
IIMs में
placements.
बहुत होते हैं.
हाँ, so I didn't want to mention that, but since it's coming from you, I'll accept it. But at Vedika, it's a lot more collaborative.
Yes.
It's also because the cohort is so like everyone wants something different. Nobody was competing with me. Like there were a few people, but it wasn't like competitive in a way कि सबको ही creative में जाना है. नहीं, there were people who wanted to be in marketing. There were people who wanted to be in sales. So there was enough room for everyone to grow, and which is where like people also keep, you know, this is a company ki jahan pe sales is more important. I think Ashmita, you're great at it, why don't you go ahead and do it? So
Right.
there was room for everyone to grow, and people, the sisterhood, the constant cheering on was there.
तो मैं जो प्लेसमेंट रिपोर्ट देख रहा था वेदिका का, बेसिकली काफ़ी सारे ट्रेडिशनल रोल्स ही ज़्यादा ऑब्वियसली मुझे दिख रहे थे. सो बेसिकली आप जो कोर्सेज मेंशन कर रहे हो, इट्स पार्ट ऑफ योर करिकुलम, बट आई गेस नॉर्मल मैनेजमेंट सब्जेक्ट्स इट्स समथिंग यू हैव. ठीक है. एंड कमिंग टू दीज कोर्सेज अगेन, बिकॉज दैट इज अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग पार्ट, एंड कमिंग टू द mentors who you have at Vedika, I'm pretty sure the mentors also have to be like that, who bring that aspects out with you. And I think Ankur Warikoo is one of the mentors that I had seen. So can you just explain about those industry mentors you had? Anyone?
So one will start with the course mentors, right? Like the instructors were people who have been industry experts. So if we are learning marketing from someone, that person has like
Got
been
it.
in positions of marketing before, and he's led teams in marketing before.
Yeah.
So it's coming from the place of real industry knowledge. In terms of the industry mentor that we had, that was each scholar would be assigned to an industry mentor for the whole
Program.
time, so whole program duration, so 18 months. And this is not ki if I have a mentor, that mentor will not have any other scholar. Maybe one mentor has 3 or 4 scholars depending on the time that they are able to give. Industry mentors in general, so Ankur Warikoo was my I was assigned to Ankur Warikoo, and I would often talk to him about, say, when I'm looking to career mein kya karna chahiye, at what position should I sit for placements. So for me, I had come to Pocket Aces for my shadow, and I'd loved it here, and I'd made up my mind ki media industry में ही कुछ आगे करना है. So in that case, I wanted to know that should I still sit for placements, because I had already gotten a PPO, but should I explore another option? Now, who do you really talk about these things with? Sure, you have friends, you have your instructors, you have the Vedika team, but someone who has an outside perspective of things. So I could discuss some of those things with Ankur, where should I sit for other placement? What kind of companies should I sort of go for? When it comes to negotiations in salary, what should be my expectation? So with each mentor, I think the mentee also decides what is it that they want out of
So
the
ये जो
situation.
industry mentors है, it's not like they're teaching you a course.
Correct, they're not teaching
but
you.
they're like guiding you
Yes.
about everything, whatever you want to discuss with them.
Yes, and depending on your equation with them, you can like leave them a text, sometimes a call, sometimes a meeting. It's not like they're meeting you every week. You decide like how frequently do you want to meet them.
Got it.
The
And
mentor and
because
mentee
you
decide
wanted to
what
go
they
into media industry, so Ankur Warikoo would have been a perfect fit for you.
Yeah, I mean that at that point he wasn't making so much content. He had written books at that point.
Oh yeah, 2020. Yeah.
So,
Got
but yeah, so industry mentors are not really जैसे shadow domain specific होता है. Industry mentors might not be that. So that's also another way for you to figure out other industries, explore other industries with your mentor.
Yeah, I think with industry mentors, how it helps a scholar is, I know that no matter whatever is going on with the subjects, you know, you'll have a certain liking for a certain subject. 6 months down the line, you feel, oh, you know, a certain other domain of management interests me more. You have a lot of thoughts going on. You're not clear about the way ahead, and you don't know who's the right person to talk about certain aspects. Now, this person is someone who knows all of it and has probably, you know, more than a decade. Some of them have like say 2 decades experience. They have, in fact, some of them have moved industries. Now this person brings a very holistic view. So it's like a go-to person depending on the equation, right? Personality types also. So I know a lot of scholars who had this equation where they're able to like meet their mentor, you know, once a month. All that they have done. Some of them have given them a very hand-holding kind of support where they say, you know, these are your areas. Collectively, they will decide, what can I, you know, help you with? Say they'll say, mera kuch development area hai, I'm not so confident on certain aspects. Then the person will bring in, guide you. They would meet them for a coffee. Some of them have given them books as a, you know, mentee for them to like complete, learn from it. It's a very, I don't know, it's something like, it's still professional, and I know the person has, you know, industry experience, but also like someone who's like my home.
Your
where I
professional
can-
therapists.
Exactly.
That
They will
is
always
pretty
go with
interesting.
anything, and I
Yeah.
say, I went and then I felt like this placement, I really don't feel. I've actually had those conversations where I feel, oh, but I don't feel confident, and I would stress about something. Then he would tell me, this is not how it works. Trust me. Why don't you follow this and that? So it's like a very nice experience where you don't expect that I will get it. But now this is not a random person who's giving me an advice just because someone who has experience. This one has relevant experience.
Correct.
Who's able to understand. And because he's been through the program with me, he also knows probably that by now what are Asmita's patterns.
Understood.
Something that I'm not able to see, but the person with so much of an experience knows what my next pattern would be. Could already preempt and guide me in the right direction.
Understood.
Also, sometimes if it is relevant, the mentor also comes from relevant experience, and they have a huge network of their own, right? So
Right, they
tomorrow, if I
connect
want
you.
to, they can help us connect to some people.
Right, so networking
also-
aspect as well is covered, I think, and it's very good. Like if you have someone who is guiding you, probably few years ahead in life, so is
Absolutely.
guiding you through the program.
Yeah, like as a fresher, now here's the thing, I have not done a job before this.
Right.
You know, like
Yeah.
I
This
understand.
is another question that I want to
Yeah.
put for all of you, like management with work experience or as a fresher. So starting with you, since you brought the topic.
Yeah, so as a fresher, you are essentially a blank slate, right? Like आपने पहले अंडरग्रेड करी होती है, आप मास्टर्स में आए हो, you have zero idea about what the corporate world really looks like, right? You know what you like, what your preferences are, what you can specialize in, what you can essentially do every day for the next 10 years. You can figure out all of that. But how do you land a job is where an industry mentor has helped me, so that's the thing. So my mentor told me, first find out which industry do you want to step in. Like instead of going from the role, because a role might look different in different industries, right? But आप वो environment क्या है, वो park कौन सा है essentially जहाँ पे आपको खेलने में मजा आएगा. Spot that first, right? And then you talk to people. You connect on LinkedIn probably. Pursue all the internships that you can. Immerse yourself in that environment, and then you narrow down the job role. And I'm not even saying that you can do all of this within Vedika. That is not going to happen. Like, I think you need some amount of lived experience also, but that hand holding never stops only for Vedika. Till date, I know a lot of people who have very close relationship
with the mentors.
With the mentors. Yeah, like I mentioned Jack before. Today itself, I was talking to her, right? So that hand holding, that relationship establishment essentially starts off from there. Not a lot of people get that. So grateful for Vedika, for having given us that support. Because without it, you kind of are a little blind. कि आप जा कहाँ रही हो, क्या हो रहा है आपके साथ, नहीं होना चाहिए essentially. So
Understood.
yeah.
And you had a brief experience before you started. So do you think it would have made a difference had you come in as a fresher, or would have been the same for you?
I think no matter whether you come in as a fresher or with some experience or a lot of experience, I think the effectiveness of the program is the same for everyone. It is entirely, directly proportional to how much initiative do you want to take. It's like there's a bag of resources that's entirely at your disposal. How much ever you want to spread your hands and grab most of it, the program will give you that. That is how I feel it is, because the nature is such. There is nothing very sacrosanct. There is nothing very generic. It's to each their own. The curriculums are such. The way mentors look at you is very different. That they understand you're an individual, unique individual, and you will have a certain exposure. Day by day, how your entire understanding of yourself is evolving during the program. So that is how conducive the program and its people are for you to take on a very unique approach of what is it, the kind of individual or a professional do I want to go out as when I enter the working environment after my studying.
And coming to your specific careers again, because I talked to Nabodita about the primary skills that is required in her industry. In HR industry, if someone wants to get into this particular industry, what are the primary skills that one should have?
I think first and foremost is interpersonal skills, because everything that you do in an HR role has to do with people. So whether I think emotional intelligence is something that is a very, very big one. There will be countless situations where people will have different situations, and you are the go-to person where everything is coming onto it, and you have a very a big responsibility to navigate it further in the best and the most ethical yet effective way possible. So I think that interpersonal skills, having that emotional intelligence to sit and understand, getting into people's shoes, but yet also being effective in your communication and problem solving approach, that you cannot be swayed entirely with whatever is coming, because each individual will have a perspective and everything will be fair if you look at it from their perspective. But here you have to be this person who has to have a very overarching view. So I feel a lot of problem solving, being on toes, in fact, is very important, because it's not a project timeline driven kind of a role that we had a certain target, we are doing this, and you end of project, start of project. It's just all pervasive. Anytime anything can happen, from like my role, right? It could be something as small as someone asking a query, hey, I wanted to raise certain claim on the portal, it's not working, can you guide me? To a medical emergency where someone is not able to contact, and then insurance details and stuff like that. So the gamut is very holistic in that sense, and anything can come. So you have to be that person who understands that this role has a lot of responsibility on your shoulders. To do it well, I think that maturity is needed, and effective communication is pretty big. And while this has been usually the skills that are needed, I have learned in my role, and recently I feel another very important skill now is to humanize the data.
Right.
We say that initially used to feel HR में क्या data भाई, it's not an analytics job. अच्छा हम तो consulting और ये नहीं करे, तो अभी क्या ही तुमको अभी people data analytics क्या ही करना है. Started off like that, but then I felt, why? Perhaps I am sitting on a gold mine if I'm not reading my data. You're seeing engagement numbers. You're seeing in the firm how people are engaging. There can be attrition numbers. There's just so much that your data will tell you. Oh, headcount from a certain team has increased very rapidly. Why it has not increased to say another team? There's just so much. If you are this person on toes who really enjoys working with data and read between the lines, oh, what can I gather from this statistics that is there? So I think that personality has to be there, and then one can do wonders in the people domain as well, because we are probably missing out an insight. If one learns this, they're going to work in a much effective manner to preempt the policy changes that are required. You can sit with the leaders and observe some trends. So I have learned that recently, and I feel that whatever years I did not know this and I didn't use it, I feel those years were wasted.
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting, because HR analytics is also one field that is coming up these days.
Right.
So coming to you, if someone wants to get into media industry, not specifically your role or any specific company, but if someone just wants to get into media industry, what are the skills they can put on their CV?
I think one, to first figure out because it's a very vast range of things you can do within the media, right? Like, are you somebody who's driven by stories? You want to write stories. You're someone who you're very good with your vision of how something should look like. So you want to go into direction per se. Or you understand the business side of things, and you understand creative, and you want to do something like what I'm doing, like branded content. So one, figuring out what is your skill set, what is the strength area. Basis that, if you're someone who feels like, I want to get into writing, I want to write fiction, maybe start with recreating some of the episodes, sending it to companies, sending it to people who are making these content, and see if any of your scripts, someone can pick up your script and make a video out of it. If you're someone who wants to direct, maybe start by making your own short film, take your phone, go shoot, and share it with people who you feel can give you feedback, or who you feel you can network with. So it really depends, especially with media, it depends on what's the aspect of media that you want to work with. But apart from that, largely love for content, passion for content, right? Like, one of my favorite things at TVF is that we discuss every Monday we're discussing कि किसने weekend पे क्या देखा. And imagine your Monday starting out कि भाई क्या देखा है weekend पे, ये show देखा, क्या लग रहा. So it's sometimes, it's a pro and a con, because you watch content for entertainment, but now it's also part of business. So you also have to watch it with a critical eye. So you're constantly consuming content. So are you someone who enjoys watching content? Are you someone who loves discussing content? If these are the things that interest you, then
Right.
basis where you want to work, reach out to those people
Right.
and do internships. This is one of those industries where your experience really matters. You could be coming from the best of management schools, but if you don't have a lot of relevant experience, someone who's just fresh out of
Right.
a college, who's done more internships, who's created more content than you, would win that seat over you. So it will have more preference
Right.
because that person has had real on the job experience in terms of creating content, right? So start small. It's okay if you don't get into big companies or big production houses. If you keep consistently keep putting your work out there, reach out to the right people, and it will help.
And like interesting aspect you mentioned about critically analyzing the content piece of it as well, because in my case as well, that I'm creating content, even I have to see certain videos which probably I'm not very interested in, just for understanding the pattern, what works. Probably I'm watching someone who makes content on JEE preparation. I attempted that exam like 10 years back, and I still watch that content, not because I'm interested in the content, but because I want to understand what's the pattern, where's the retention happening, because ultimately the field is same. So I think that critical analysis is something that
Yes,
probably
and
helps.
like in your case, you don't want to watch something, पर कभी-कभी ये होता है कि तुम्हें बस एक फिल्म की तरह से देखना है, like a
Right.
regular
It's a
audience,
different
but
thing.
you will never be able to watch it like any other audience
Right.
viewer would. You're like यहाँ पे continuity error है, यहाँ पे,
हाँ, exactly.
So you're constantly just looking at things with those eyes, but it's okay. I mean, it just makes you better at your job. So
That's precisely what I was curious to know. That does it happen to you by default that you're watching something and all the behind the scenes possibilities are running in your head? Probably they did bit of this, bit of that. Does that happen to you?
sometimes you have to actively sort of turn
Switch
off
that
that
off,
switch
yeah.
off. But yeah, you're looking at shots and you're thinking about कि इसका camera movement कैसे
Yeah.
हुआ होगा, and इसके लिए actor को कैसे क्या brief मिली होगी.
I know.
Sometimes, I mean, I come from brand solutions, so the second I see a brand on a show, on a video, then I'm like, okay, what would the brief have been? Could this have been done differently? So you are constantly looking at content with a very critical eye.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I just wanted to mention that both these women actually brought two very important points. Okay, first was the data bit. In advertising, data is important. Like for a planner, my everything comes from data, right? And then she mentioned humanizing the data. कुछ भी 10 facts आप बोल दो, क्या करूँ मैं उसका, right? You have to really extract. So we write briefs, okay, for the creators now. That's where I'll come to the second point, what she mentioned. So briefs mein what do we do? The client comes us and gives us a business challenge, right? What a planner essentially does is identifies the human problem, right? Ki whatever the data might be, you have to make certain sense of it, right? And really identify कि भाई मतलब वो consumer को क्या दिक्कत हो रही है as a result of the data, right? So that the second thing that Romani mentioned was the kind of roles, right? So in advertising, there are essentially 3 pillars. There's a lot of other things also, but 3 major मोटा काम है. First is planning, which is my bit, which is brand strat, research, stuff like that. Then comes the creative, who write the copies, who will direct the ad, who will tell me exactly who to cast, who to not cast, what is happening. And the third bit is client servicing, where essentially you are executing every bit of it, right? Sometimes ऐसा होता है यार कि a planner and a creative, we really don't know how to organize our timetables. We are so bad at that. Like, oh my God, that's where the third person is coming in. कि सर पे बैठा है वो इंसान कि ये भी एक और brief है, करो.
Yeah, it's somewhere like it becomes an assembly line of sorts, right?
Yes.
Like even in
Correct.
my
Correct.
role, there's a certain team member who'll bring in the brief from the client. I have to work on that brief, take it to the creative team. The creative team and I together will jam. But ultimately, the concepts, all of it has to come from the creative team. once once the deal sort of goes through, someone else is taking care of the execution bit of it. So एक के बाद एक और हर एक का रोल उतना ही important है. It is also quite imperative that everyone is aligned on the vision, because ultimately it starts out with a brief that has come from the agency or a brief that has come from a client.
Yeah.
But by the time it's executed, sometimes it can be months in between, depending on the size of the show or the content that we're creating. So you have to ensure that the vision does not sort of drop. Nobody drops the ball in between, because these are also high ticket items, right? Like brands are spending a lot of money, so you want to ensure that you also want to deliver quality while staying true to the stories you want to tell.
Understood. And coming back to you in the space where you were talking about the primary skills, you said, okay, multi-dimensional approach and everything, which looks good in terms of theory. However, if someone wants to get into the industry, obviously someone cannot just put on their CV, because again, CV shortlisting is an important aspect of getting recruited in any firm. So how, if someone does not have any experience in advertising, has not done any particular job, what are skills they should put specifically on the CV that probably would attract recruiters in advertising?
Okay. So yes, essentially, if you are starting off fresh, then CV में जो extra curricular वाला section है, your passion points, your hobbies, that's what you expand, right? Your ultimate objective should be to tell the recruiter what did you do with your hobby, right? Like, let's say if you're a singer, then did you use that singing to help an organization collect some funds, maybe something like that, right? If you're, let's say, interested in entrepreneurship and you have pursued a couple of courses on, let's say, a Coursera, then did you do anything to have a small business probably, or maybe help another business owner establish the foundations of a startup. So stuff like that has to be blown up to indicate that yes, you are multifaceted. You are hands-on. You are not you are not attached or married to your desk. अगर आपको उठ के अभी किसी क्रिएटिव के साथ बैठना है ये जैम करने के लिए कि आइडिया क्या है, राइट, कि वो करेक्ट आर्टिकुलेशन क्या है, आप बैठोगे. That is what is demanded out of you.
I also think that now social media is so big. It's such a big canvas that you have. Yeah. You have a certain skill set. You have something that you want to put out. Do it consistently. Put it out there for someone who wants to get into copywriting, for example. Reimagine you. No one's going and giving you ads, right? Like to come up with new ads. Reimagine the existing ads. कि अगर कल उठ के मुझे मूव के लिए ऐड बनाना है, मुझे ओला के लिए बनाना है, ओयो के लिए बनाना है, हाउ वुड आई पुट दैट कम्युनिकेशन आउट? टेक अप दोस 30-day challenges के every day I'm reimagining a copy. Put it out there, build that social media presence, and next time you reach out to a recruiter, you can be like, hey, this is a page that I've built from scratch.
Yeah.
So that, and I've seen people do that. I've seen people go shoot their own ads on their phones. So it's okay if you don't have prior experience, like work experience, but you could have built your own experiences chasing the skill sets.
That's an interesting point, because not only the CV that you have on paper, but your digital CV as well.
Yeah, if you're good with great with graphic designing, you want to reimagine logos of existing organizations. And these kind of things today on LinkedIn, on Instagram.
And a lot of people are doing this. And they are getting clients as well. Maybe in terms of freelancing as well, they are getting clients.
And that, in fact, as a recruiter, I think this would be of more merit to me if someone's had that sort of a push proactiveness to do something on their own.
I strongly believe that skills can be taught, and the technical aspect, yes, of course, to a certain extent you need that basic understanding in that individual, but any industry, any recruiter for that matter, I think would prefer a person who is big on the kind of personality that they are, their dedication, their innovative the ideas that they have bringing in, and the initiative taking part, because that is something that you can't infuse in an individual. You absolutely need that कि वो लेकर आए, and then customize तो हम अपने requirement के हिसाब से उनको वैसे ही by training करा लेंगे. So everybody prefers that over the technical.
In every job, I think customization has to happen. So please go ahead.
Coming from what Romani also said, or the 30-day challenges. Research papers, at least in Vedika also, you do end up writing one, two.
Yeah.
And before that, if you've done it in your undergrad, then you should mention that, because at least for a fresher, the expectation of a recruiter is not high up in the air also, right? That also has to be
Yes.
talked about. Ki, you are not up for a very harsh battle. There are people who understand, as a fresher, आपकी 3-4 कुछ requirements है, right? Research paper एक ये चीज़ indicate करता है that okay, this person has spent a considerable amount of time behind one thing. That shows integrity, that shows perseverance. These are the things that recruiters essentially look for in a fresher.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel also, just I have an example from the company I work with. Writers, right? Like day in and day out, you see people wanting to, they are at the doorsteps at the office ki kuch role chahiye, likhna hai, I'm a writer, I want to direct. But I know people, today some of the writers at TVF are people who consistently kept sending their work to this organization. Ki ye dekho aapka episode maine dekha, I've rewritten this episode, can you please give me feedback? And consistently, and to the point where the team is like, यार ये कौन है बंदा, इससे पूछते हैं, इसको एक assignment देते हैं. And today I know a person who's writing shows, who's writing stuff for Amitabh Bachchan today. So it's purely how much passion you have for your work, how much perseverance you have. Very rightly said, you have to keep at it. There's a lot of creative people out there, especially, and like in any other job,
I agree.
You have to proactively put your work out
Right.
and be consistent.
And coming to you, the part about your background that we skipped, you are now switching to a very unconventional field, as we can call it. So how does that switch happen, and how do you get the confidence to do that?
So I feel that a life that is rich is one where you are able to be mindful, and you know that what am I really doing it for? What is my ultimate higher purpose that I owe to my upbringing, I guess. I have always, been in an environment at my home where we were, the exposure was all about how do you create an impact? How do you give back? That is something that was there. And to just quote an example, I faintly remember, but I think when I was in 5th standard, or at least from that year onwards, every year, my parents made it a point that me and my brother, on our birthdays, we would celebrate our birthdays, yes, with family, there will be a cake cutting, etc. But my father identified one place where we could go and help the society at large, and he made it a point that no place was repeated twice. So we had 2 unique places and people to interact with in a year. And it went on for, till the time I was in my school. What that did was, it opened your doors to perspective. Say, for example, once we would go to an old age home. The other day I'm going to an orphanage. Sometimes we're going to a cow shelter, and the list goes on. That was something that had instilled in us way early, where the concept of life and culture and career was not even formed. We didn't even know these terms. Yeah. That's when we understood that, oh, you know what? There is a lot that we can do. And the beautiful part was, and the reason I'm mentioning it because it's going to connect to why I'm doing what I'm doing, is my father made it a point that we don't just give what we want to give. He used to take us, for example, today, if it's my birthday, few days back, he would take me to the place of, say, that NGO, there'll be a certain manager. We'll go and do a brief meeting. Say, tell us about the beneficiaries here. What is it that they really need right now? And then we would go buy that particular item or a particular support that they need, whether it's us spending time or whatever. And then we would go shop that together with my dad, and then spend that time on the birthday, and then cut the cake with everyone. Yeah. What that did was, and I wasn't realizing that what I was getting trained into was, you need to not assume stuff. You have to make customized solutions. You have to be there for people. You have to give an empathetic hearing. All of this later on in my management, and as I read books, I was realizing that I had terminology to name it. But somewhere it was ingrained way early, where I was in 5th standard. So what that did was, I was constantly on a zone to keep thinking, not be complacent. What more can I do? Am I really making an impact with what I'm doing, or is it just 9 to 5 हुआ सब काम किया ठीक है I'm getting some salary at the start of the month? Yes, of course I need money to sustain and everything, but this is how I kept switching. And to people out there, I would just say that you don't necessarily have to have a conventional trajectory to be successful. I studied commerce and mathematics in 11th and 12th. I went on to study political science honors for my undergrad, then worked in development sector, coming to a management program, and now working as an HR. And well-being is something that I've been interested in. So I'm now going to be spending all my time into holistic well-being solutions for self and then eventually for the world out there. Because it all came from a point where I was really enjoying my role as an HR, but I felt that well-being is something which is a very, very important element today that needs focus, and we have to take that onus on well-being not being just a tick in the box. I've done so-and-so challenge for 21 days and then life comes back to a standstill. I have motivation for a certain day, okay, then done. Oh, I'm ensuring my physical well-being. I go to the gym every day, look at my calorie count. But what happened to your mental and emotional well-being? You just put at a back seat, you're on the back burner, and all of this. So all of this, when I connected with people more and more, I realized that this is where my true passion lies. And now where the confidence came, like you asked, is अभी तक भी तो कुछ conventional trajectories तो नहीं की है. Political science honors वाले ने भी management में ठीक से कर लिया, management वाले ने HR कर लिया, HR वाले ने कुछ और कर लिया. So I feel what we three of us have already mentioned, it's all about how honest, genuine and passionate you are for what you want to do. And then it doesn't matter. You need to just be out there ki, hey, this is what I bring to the table because XYZ. I have done so and so. Just need to have that clarity, I feel.
Understood. And coming back to Vedika Scholars program, because I know we have already discussed a lot because that was not the plan, but the courses are pretty interesting. So we just happened to elaborate on that. But the time that you all had chosen this particular program, it was still, you would call it pretty new because now it's well established. The youngers, mostly people know about the program as well. However, when you were choosing the program, it was not so well known. So what made you choose Vedika Scholars program? And this particular answer would be very useful for the youngers who are aspiring to be one of you.
I'll actually start with a story. One that was told to us when we joined induction, maybe you guys will recall. It's the story about giants, dwarfs, and wizards, and it's a party of kids, and the instructor says that everyone has to pick whether they want to be a giant, a dwarf, or a wizard, and everyone pick a place in the room, make those groups, and it's supposed to be a very chaotic game. Everyone's trying to look for find their identity. Ki kaun giant hai, kaun dwarf hai, kaun wizard hai. And while the game is on, a little girl comes and tugs at the pants of the instructor and where do the mermaids stand? And this person was taken aback because she asked with a lot of dignity and very clearly that where do the mermaids stand? And they're right here by the king of the sea. And I think somewhere that has always driven me, even before coming to Vedika, that not everyone is supposed to be fit inside a pigeonhole. There is a vast, there's a plethora of opportunity out there. In terms of the curriculum from Vedika, it allowed ki haan tum karo management, you learn those management subjects, but interpersonal skills are also just as crucial, or your communication skills are just as crucial. Your personal development is just as crucial. And it felt that someone here is running a course who understands that, I don't want to be fit into a pigeonhole. I want to explore what my options are and then maybe choose an option that's perhaps the best for me. And that it doesn't have to be an end goal. I don't have to enter with an end goal in mind कि मुझे तो यही company में यही role करना है. I can come, I can learn how to be my better self every day.
Yeah.
And then eventually figure out it's not Vedika, I feel, does not just prepare you for a certain role, a particular career milestone. Yeah. It prepares you for life. Tomorrow, so beautifully she explained how she's transitioned through so many different roles and continues to do so. I think one of the ways is that because it somewhere has prepared her कि सिर्फ एक रोल के लिए प्रिपेयर नहीं किया गया था. इट वॉज
Right.
हाउ शी कैन मैनेज 5 different aspects of
Right.
her identity, one after the other or consecutively.
So coming to the point you were mentioning about the entrance exams and everything,
Yes.
the selection process. So how exactly does the selection process at Vedika look like? Again, anyone. who wants
Yeah,
which-
so essentially it started off from an application on the website. Correct me if I miss out something.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a long while. And it has like a lot of 10-15 questions होते हैं उसमें और long answers. आपको articles लिखने पड़ेंगे, आपका opinion बताना पड़ेगा चीज़ों को लेकर. And then after that, you get a call for an interview. At least that was my process.
Yeah, right.
You get a letter first, of course, like you know you've been invited for an interview, and in your interview also, you know you are not. I mean, I wasn't asked much about my qualifications as much as what like they really wanted to understand my ambition.
Yeah.
You know, like my क्वेश्चन फॉर एम्बिशन कि ये लड़की आई है यहाँ पे बट इसको लाइफ में बनना क्या है. दैट इज़ वॉट दे वॉन्टेड टू असेस, राइट. दे वर आस्किंग मी अ लॉट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस अबाउट the extracurricular stuff that I have done, right? The amount of books that I have read, you know, a lot of assessment for whether this person is suitable for an environment which gives you a lot of things instead of specializing in one thing, right? So will you fit there or not? Are you a good fitment? That is what is assessed.
Yeah, also
essentially.
just overall, how teachable are you, right? Vedika will take a horse to the pond and will do everything in its might to take that horse to a pond, but like ultimately will the scholar be able to drink that water?
Yeah.
Ultimately, are they able to unlearn and learn while at Vedika? If certain resources are given to them, will they be proactive enough to grab onto
Right.
those opportunities? If there is an industry mentor, there's a shadow module, will they be able to make the best out of these situations? What are incidents from their life so far where they have shown this behavior? So, and which is very, I love how subjective that is, because her learnings in life and her experiences in life where she's brought up is very different from my realities, right?
Yeah.
So, and then but ultimately agar sabko ek hi entrance dena hai, maybe they were not all provided the same resources, and we don't want to be judged exactly on the same scales. Everyone comes with their own subjective learnings, and
Yes.
what provided the best resources where they can take this to, which is where Vedika comes.
This is actually taking me back to when I was, you know, going through it, and I recall all the steps. So I think firstly I filled a form which had, you know, like Nabuzda mentioned, was objective first, like, you know, and there was no right or wrong answer about it.
Correct.
Right?
Absolutely.
अब those are questions, while it's objective, लेकिन उसका कोई right or wrong answer नहीं. It's not about कि, you know, a particular geographical related or science related question कि इसका यही एक सही answer होने वाला है. It was across. It was about, you know, it was a bit of politics, there's ideologies, there's business, there's personality, there's everything. And then some subjective questions also. And it required a lot of business acumen also. It's not that they didn't expect. Obviously, it's a management program. In my interview, in my subjective questions, there was a lot about whether am I reading about, you know, some bilateral relations है या business का है, कुछ economics में कुछ अभी नए developments आए, how is it affecting, how is it going to affect the country's economy and stuff like that. So
So
basic.
part of those interview questions.
Right,
like
as
when
part
they're-
of interview questions. And so I'll tell you what it made me feel was, and I was also against ki I don't want to do something because I had some work ex. I was like, I don't want to go for a program जहाँ फिर से, and I've been a very studious kid since बचपन, and I was thinking I don't want to do this again. 2 years of ये subject material पढ़ो, ये 6 महीने का ये आपके readers हैं, ये I said I've done that enough in my life. Can someone please tell me जो मैंने 1 साल काम किया उसमें मुझे उसको और बेहतर कैसे करना है उस situation को? How do I deal with that client better? मुझे थोड़ा personalize दोगे? I was looking for something like that when this thing came in. When all the selection process happened and they focused so much on these aspects of me, I realized that, like you mentioned, right, how teachable are you? तो मुझे एक बहुत अच्छी चीज़ ये लगी कि ये पूरे प्रोसेस में जब मेरा फाइनल इंटरव्यू 2 राउंड्स ऑफ इंटरव्यू हो गए, एंड देन आई रियलाइज कि सही है वैसे ये प्रोसेस, क्योंकि अगर मुझे सब कुछ आता है तो मैं वहाँ जाके सीखूंगी क्या? Probably मेरे इंटेंट अच्छा होना चाहिए, that I'm someone who's this very diligent initiative taking scholar. I will take all the juice that I can from what resources you have to offer, but yes, I don't know certain things. That's why I'm coming and I'm spending this money and time and energy with you.
And
That's what I
cohort,
felt, and that felt amazing to me.
the entire batch as well, right? Like we were just talking about how diverse someone's coming from like an army background, someone's coming like maybe from a very very small town. Age wise, there's diversity, there's just influx of so much lived experience. A lot of your learning happens in the class, but majority of all of it also happens when you go back to your hostel rooms and you're working in those groups to
Understood.
you know, do
this
those
I had a
tasks.
question, but I think it's already answered, so I won't ask it again. Like my question basically was, does all women cohort affect learning? But I think you answered it already. So my question actually would be now, any workplace, in your workplace or while growing up as students, when you were students, did you face any challenge or bias as a woman? And do you see some of them existing today as well when you are working?
See, the industry that I work in, primarily a lot of technical roles also, right? Like you will see a lot of camera team be men. Writers बहुत यानी अलग अलग जगहों से आते हैं, but largely if heartland of India से आ रहे हैं तो आप समझ लो, because that's just how the society is, कि ज़्यादातर you will be dealing with male counterparts. Having said that, biases, I think overall workplaces are getting a lot more aware about these. There are some amazing men out there who realize that, you know, there's space for everyone. Not everyone has to be like loud and like very assertive. There's enough room for everyone's opinion. So I do feel people are getting more inclusive that way. But yeah, sometimes you do feel when you walk into a room ki you will have to bring your A game. There is no you will have to work hard, because sometimes you'll have to fight harder for something that somebody else has been getting.
Okay, and I think that shadow module that you all were mentioning, when you see those leaders doing that again and again, probably that would have taught you a lot.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Also, I think just in organizations, I've seen that now women are also sort of helping each other
Exactly.
out. We're cheering for each other the loudest, which I think is amazing. And at the same time, there are other, you know, male employees as well. They're like, you know, what you said makes more sense. We should go. So, or if someone's creating an environment which is not very comfortable, they're also quick to sort of keep ye nahi karte, you know. So there is sensitivity around it a lot more, and I think we're building this culture together.
Got it.
Yeah, but I think there's
that's-
also
that's
this journey that's going on, completely aligned with both of them. Thankfully, the number is increasing of the people in this, you know, corporate, or in that sense, not only corporate, but then overall at a societal level, that, you know, there's more acceptance of, you know, there being differences, and each one brings a different, you know, thing to the table. However, I feel we're socialized, and it's a decades or probably a century long socialization that is getting, you know, broken. So I still see in some instances that while, you know, certain men, and in very few cases some powerful women to that extent, like, you know, sometimes they would feel that, but I'm very focused on my outcome, I have a certain deliverable. So there's it's a very thin line where you want to be supportive principally, they're your rooters, but sometimes, you know, that whole empathy, and it's not a man or a woman thing, it's all about, as humans, the more and more empathetic we can be, and you know, more proactive we can be. I still feel there are certain aspects where people unknowingly would do this, that no, but like, you've already taken so much of this you know, leave and everything, and you know, you understand, I also have this pressure, no, this thing has to be delivered, and things like that. So yes, not entirely discounting the importance of certain things to be, you know, needle has to move, it has to move. I think a world can do with a lot more kindness towards it, and it's a journey, but absolute shout out to the headway that we have made, which is significant.
Got it.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, just one, like, for
Yeah,
every,
please.
like, all the women who are watching this podcast, there's something I learned from Ankur Wariku while I was, you know, one of my sessions with him, and he said something which will always stick with me. If you don't ask, the answer is always no.
Absolutely.
And I think as women, we're not taught how to ask.
Yeah.
Be more assertive at workplaces. If if you find it in yourself to ask the questions, you asking the opportunities,
Right.
the answer is going to be no.
Yeah.
You will see that if you do ask, however, and if you have more clarity, there will be enough and more people to come out and help. So yes.
Got it. So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Ashmita, Rumani, and Navodita for doing this. I'm pretty sure this is going to be very interesting conversation for everyone, especially young girls who will like really get inspired through this conversation. And I get a lot of doubts as well about Vedika Scholars Program. So that's why I wanted to just do this so that you can get a perspective from the alumni who have been there, been through the journey, and I'm pretty sure for them as well it will be great insight. So thank you for taking out time for this.
This was a pleasure.
Yes, it
Yeah.
was
Had a good
a
day.
very rich conversation. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for having us.